You know, when you know somebody, you have this relationship and it feels significant and you don't know why. And and sometimes you don't know why for years or even decades. That was Joy for me. Joy Unruh, not her name now, but she was Joy Unruh when I was in boarding school in grade 12 in Caronport, Saskatchewan, and she was my dean in the dorm. And I really, really liked her. She was really young and she was fun. Everybody thought she was great. Well, we went our ways, and years later, we both were working at Ambrose University. And we had a few good connections there and really appreciated one another. And then in 2020, I went full-time publishing. I left Ambrose. And 6 years later, 5 years later, I guess, Joy sends me Christina.
That's me.
This is Christina, who Joy introduced me to. So I don't mind telling you, I was in boarding school in 1986, 40 years
That's
ago. 40 years
that's
ago.
the year I was born.
Oh my gosh. So the year that Christina was born, I was in boarding school with Joy Unruh as my dean. 40 years later, she introduces me to Christina.
And the connection is kind of random. Me and Joy go to the same church, and I was looking for a job. And my friend said, "Hey, Joy like used to coach people, and I bet you she could help you look at your resume or figure out what jobs to like look for." And so I was working with Joy, and we just weren't getting bites. And then one day Joy was like, "I don't know, is there like any other random connection I should help you with?" And I said, "Well, I've written a book. Do you know any publishers?" And I was being like just a smarty pants, like tongue in cheek. And she looked at me and she said, "I do." And that was you, Colleen.
Oh my goodness. That is so fun. So next week, we're not here to talk about Lisa, but we're going to talk about Lisa for a minute because next week you're going to be on Lisa LeBlanc's podcast.
Yes.
Lisa and I live in the same community in Calgary. And at the time when she was working on her memoir, she was really fighting with God about it. and, and she had this argument, it's in the front of her book. And she's like, okay, well, if there's a publisher in my community, and my husband had just said to me, you
That's
you should advertise on Nextdoor, the nextdoor.ca. And that was the only time I ever really advertised. And Lisa saw it.
and she was like, "Damn it." That's so funny.
So Lisa's one of my authors, and Lisa loves what's happening with this project. And so here we are. Like
Here we
one
are.
relationship leads to another.
That's
I
really fun. I
love
like
that
it.
interconnectedness.
Yeah.
So, so Christina and I met on Zoom. We actually live one community across from each other. We've seen each other maybe twice in person,
Yeah.
but we've
Yeah.
had quite a few Zoom calls. Um, so we met on Zoom. We talked about her book, and one of the things Christina said was she felt, how did you describe it? You felt like you were pregnant almost.
Yeah. I felt like I
Yeah.
was pregnant with this story and like
Mhm.
ready to deliver it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And I hadn't looked at your manuscript yet, but just from talking to you, I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't think it's the book. Like, I'm like, when do you feel like you're due?
Yeah. And I like literally, I remember I like closed my eyes and rubbed my belly because I've been pregnant a couple times. And I was like,
Yeah.
what does it feel like? How
Yeah.
far along am I? And yeah, I said something
You
like,
said January.
yeah, like due in January. But it was, you like helped frame it of like, okay, like you might give birth to like the concept in January, but maybe the book doesn't come. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So it's not the book that's ready in January, it's the
Yeah.
message.
The message. That's what it was.
Because
Yeah.
I've been telling authors for a long time, you have a message long before you have a book.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to put your message out there before the book is ready. Because I also said to you, and you were the first person I'd said this to, the book is just one outfit that your message
Yeah.
will wear.
Yeah.
which really fits that pregnancy metaphor. You're giving
Yeah.
birth to this message, and your first outfit for your message was YouTube.
Yep.
Because I noticed that you had a YouTube channel, you hadn't used it in a year. I'm like,
Yep.
revive that thing and start talking about this. This is, if this message is coming out in January, that's where.
Yep.
And so you started showing up on YouTube pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just
My
little
Yeah,
shorts.
just little like blurbs. I like learned that if it's under 3 minutes, then it's called a short, and then you get different views and blah blah blah. Yep.
That's right. And your son has been helping you, both of your kids have been helping
Both of
you.
my kids. So my daughter's like the Instagram genius
Hmm.
and like the design Canva lady. My son wants to be a YouTuber, and he started a YouTube account like probably a week and a half ago. I
Hmm.
started mine like in January. Okay, he already has almost as many subscribers as me. So clearly the kid knows what he's doing. Yeah. Yeah.
But he also said, why? Why does he think it's easier for him to get subscribers than you?
Okay. He's like a very generous, thoughtful child because he said, Mom, my content is dancing pancakes. And it is a lot easier for that to get likes and hits because your content is hard and real and it's harder to do the real things.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, very profound, very encouraging. But
Hmm.
yes, his dancing pancakes are quite a success. Yeah,
And we haven't said yet what your content is.
that's true, actually. Not dancing pancakes.
It's not dancing pancakes. No, far from it. Which is, and it's kind of ironic that we're having so much fun when considering
Yes, the
your
topic
content.
sucks.
What is the
The
topic,
topic's a big
Christina?
downer. So, I was human trafficked, and my dad was my human trafficker. So, like, it's actually very, very heavy. Probably one of the reasons why you and me, Colleen, are good at like levity and joking around with each other because
Mhm.
the work we're doing actually really sucks. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Yeah, 100%. And
Sometimes
sometimes
you should.
both. Yeah,
Sometimes you
exactly.
should cry,
Yeah.
and sometimes you should just laugh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And laughter's part of the coping, and laughter
Yes.
is part of the healing.
Yeah, that's exact. I was going to cut you off and say, but it's part of the healing too.
Yeah,
Totally. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, one of the things that I've loved watching Christina do is teach. And it's neat because in the book she talks about, I'm going to read you a section. Growing up, I always wanted to be a teacher. This was one of my two approved careers for women in my family and church, nurse or teacher. So I thought I'd struck gold. This was the one career my father pushed me away from more actively than he did most anything. He would sit me down and talk to me about how the system would kill me, the red tape would infuriate me, I wouldn't be able to actually help any kids, and I most definitely should not pursue a teaching degree. Most of the time, when my dad told me to do or not do something, I would do the exact opposite. For some reason, I listened to him when it came to getting a teaching degree, and I have regretted it so often.
Hmm.
So, you work with kids right now in a
Yep.
school setting,
Yep.
and when I watch your YouTube videos, I just think, yeah, you're a natural teacher. You didn't need a teaching degree to prove that you're a teacher,
Thanks.
to teach people. You you are teaching people now. You are teaching people something very, very important. Like one
Mhm.
of the things you do is word of the day.
Yeah.
And right now it's just these little short videos where you say your word of the day is, and what was it? Yeah, the word that you came up with yesterday?
Hypervigilant was today. I don't know. What was
Yeah, but it
yesterday?
came to you last night. You said it
Oh,
just keeps
yes.
coming.
Oh, okay. So I'm in a bi-weekly support group and we're just like sitting there and we have like two really great therapists that lead us women through this group. And like every time we like do these breathing exercises and it's like super annoying. And I say this in my word of the day video. It's annoying that breathing works. Like it kind of ticks me off. It shouldn't be that simple, but it does work.
Mm.
And we were sitting there doing these breathing exercise. And as we were like breathing and she was like doing the mantra and teaching us about hypervigilance, I was like, oh, damn it. Look at us just doing our little breathing things like fully grown women, breathing in through our nose, out through our mouth. Hypervigilance is going to be my word of the day for tomorrow because here I am fighting it even now.
Yeah, yeah. So we were talking about the content. Like, so Christina's on a mission to teach about human trafficking, how it's not always what you think it is. It's true that a lot of people who are human trafficked have been kidnapped, but
Yeah.
Christina was not kidnapped. And I
Yeah.
know Christina's editor was human trafficked by her own father.
Yeah. So
She was
she was
not
also
kidnapped.
not kidnapped. Yeah.
No, no, she was, well, the language that your family used was farmed out.
Yeah.
You were
Totally.
farmed out to
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
for, and mercifully, you didn't, you weren't really aware of it. You were
Yeah.
somehow, God preserved your innocence in the middle of all of this. And well, one other word for the day is dissociation, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say disassociation is super duper how I wasn't aware of it. Because I
That's right.
was, but
Mhm.
I totally unplugged. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So and I wrote a Substack post called Farmed Out, talking about this and talking about dissociation, how it's a gift in the moment, but it's a gift that has to be unpacked
Yeah.
and revitalized later,
Yeah.
repaired later. It's a
And it's
broken
a gift,
gift.
like it's meant to be a short-term gift, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's just like any of these other things, like hypervigilance, the longer it is,
Yeah.
actually now it's maladaptive. Now we got like some real trauma work to do.
Yeah. Well,
But
hypervigilance, if you're holding your breath, you're not breathing. You're holding your
for like
breath.
decades, right?
You're gonna pass out. You're gonna like I was diagnosed with sleep apnea a few years ago, and before that, like I lost my gallbladder, and I think that my organs were starting to die. Like
Yeah,
there's a higher when you have sleep apnea, you're not breathing right at night. You are oxygen deprived,
yeah,
and you have a higher chance of like heart attacks and
yeah,
things like that when you're not breathing
yeah,
properly. And so like, same with this is a trauma response for
totally.
many people. They don't breathe properly, and all kinds of other things happen
Yeah,
in the body. Never
yeah,
mind in the brain and
yeah,
the
and the heart and yeah,
soul. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So this is part of your dad dissuaded you away from teaching, but I see you, and I think you didn't make this connection in the book, but I see you teaching. I see you
Mm,
teaching. And you have something really, really important to teach people because you do bring a sense of levity, and
mm,
like you say, you teach us these hard words, hard concepts, but you just do it like it's like this.
mm.
And you're not like you need to understand. It's more um this is a reality. Now what
Yeah,
are we going to do about it?
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe that's because it is just my lived reality. So I'm like, I'm very accepted of it. And so, okay,
Yeah.
well, let's just talk about it. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So one of the reasons, not one of the reasons, one of the strategies we've been using is to fund the book is now one of the things you talk about in your book is how you had to sink all of your resources. You
yeah.
cashed
All of,
in.
so I was married. Okay, we're almost married 17 years. So I was married not quite 10 years. We're married like 7, I don't know. We were married. I was married and I had kids when
Mhm,
I got like my memories and when I realized my dad was not safe and when I wanted the protection order.
mhm,
And we had to take, well, we chose to take all of our savings, all of my husband's RSP, and put it into like, we need a protection order.
mhm,
Oh, my dad got a lawyer. We need a lawyer. And
mhm,
so all of that got taken and used, and we still have none, right? There's still no RSPs. Yeah.
mhm. Ugh. So, because of that, like Serotonin Creative is my publishing company, and we're a boutique company, and we ask authors to invest in their projects financially and all other ways. Well, Christina was like, we have no money. And now I understand why, because I read the whole book and I'm like, oh, the
Yeah.
cost of recovery. Chapter 11 is about the cost of your rescue.
Yeah.
And
It makes like the lawyer fees seem small, honestly. Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah.
So this is not just this book. The money we're raising for this book is not just the cost of your rescue. Actually, it's the cost of other people's rescue
Hmm.
because you are bringing awareness. You're shining a light on this. You have come to a point in your recovery where you're ready to talk about it publicly,
Yeah.
openly, coherently. and in a way that people can understand. I think it's approachable,
Mm.
and I want to help you get it out there. So I wasn't just going to like give you a scholarship. I wanted to see that you could do it. And
Yeah.
so when you said you felt like you were about to give birth and that you were due in January, I'm like, this is it. And I watched you lean in. I'm
Hmm.
like, you like, there's more things to spend than money. There's time, energy, and attention. And you were spending those hard in January, February, March, April. Like, and meanwhile, we're talking about these other things that we wanted to do leading up to this crowdfunding campaign that we're doing. So technically, we were talking about this. We set our goal very ambitiously, $20,000. Why $20,000? Like,
Okay, to
I
be
just,
very clear, it's
yes,
a big number.
yeah,
It is how much I earn annually in my
yeah,
underpaid occupation. Okay.
yeah,
So it's like, to me, I understand that it's a huge number.
yeah,
Yes, very
yeah.
big. Yeah.
Yeah. And now it's a flexible campaign. So we don't have to, it's not all or nothing. It's flexible. Whatever money comes in, we will put it into the book and we will get the book out there. And these days with publishing, you can print on demand. You don't have to print,
Yeah.
you don't have to do a big print run. So to actually make a book is simple. To actually put it out so people can buy it is pretty simple, but we want more. Like one of the things on our list of things that we want to do is marketing. Well, what are we going to do with in the marketing? We want to go to a marketing company here in Canada that has a email list of 16,000 churches or 16,000 people in churches across Canada, a church email list. And we want to do an email blast or two or three. Like we want to put this book in front of people in churches across Canada.
And I
And
want to tell
that's
you
not cheap.
why. Yeah. It's
Why?
not cheap, but when you and me sat down, we prioritized it because you've read the manuscript, you understand what I understand. My dad was like a faithful attender of our local church. He
Yeah.
was an involved member or an elder or a moderator. And most of his customers who bought me attended the church,
Yeah.
which means the church was where this was happening. This is who it was happening with.
Mhm.
This there was at least multiple levels of church members being complicit,
Yeah.
which means the church needs to be told, hey,
Yeah.
we can do better. We have to do better.
Yeah, and complicity sometimes it is an active thing and sometimes it's a passive thing, but both are problematic. And
Yeah.
I'm the children's ministry director at my church, and we do protection training. And one of the facts is that you think that a small town is safer
Yeah.
because everybody knows each other. That's not true. That's often the opposite.
Yeah.
Like you don't get lost in the crowd, but people somehow they turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I mean, I do have some theories about the psychology of it all and the spirituality of it all,
Yeah.
but it's evil. It is absolute evil, and it is more prevalent underneath our noses than
Yeah.
we realize.
Yeah.
And and we're not here to say you should be suspicious of everybody,
No.
but
But
you should take good care.
yeah, take good care. Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm,
And I think that when you're in any religious institution that is saying you take good care, then you need to know that this is one of the ways that you have to be doing it.
mhm.
One of the blog posts I wrote on my blog is called Mafia Family
Yeah.
because it's that, Colleen. It's this small town thing where everybody knew where everybody's bodies were. These people weren't gonna report my dad
Mhm,
because he had vouched for them over here, or this
mhm.
RCMP record had gone missing. And right, they all had guns to each other's backs. It was a mafia family. And that's dangerous. It's
And
really
li-
dangerous.
and in some cases, literally, they had guns to each other's backs. And
Yeah.
you have a story about that, which we're not going to tell now, but
Yeah.
it's a hard story,
Yeah.
but it's part of your story
Yeah.
and how there was a real gun involved in one of your one situation that you were in.
Yeah.
So Yeah, there's a lot we could talk about. We'll talk again. We'll do this again
Yeah.
before the month is over. So this is Christina is one crowdfunder that we're running this month, and we have another one. And both of them we launched in the same week on the authors' birthdays. So there's another reason why we want to invite you to join the crowdfunder and like give a birthday gift to Christina so that we can give gifts around the country and
Yeah.
around the world, really. Like we were talking about movies that we've seen. I just watched a movie called Still Hope about a 15-year-old girl who was kidnapped and put and human trafficked and then rescued. And then you said you watched Sound of Freedom.
Yeah. We watched it in theaters when it came out. At that point, I already knew all of these things about myself, had just started writing my book. And I'll do a longer video about it on my YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah.
But Colleen, it was so interesting to go to the theater. So me and my husband went. He's been a huge like support for me.
Mhm.
And there was some parts in the movie where I was just like, wow, like
Mhm.
they totally captured it. This feels like what it felt like. This looks like what it looked like. And then obviously, so I wasn't like abducted to another country or to another town. So there was some parts where I'm like, nope, I wasn't literally sold up a river. I
Mhm.
was metaphorically sold up a river, but it's very different. I was driven in my own dad's van. And
Mhm.
so it's an interesting thing when there's so much similar and so much different. There's different kinds of trafficking. I think sometimes I think we have to take what we understand and know about trafficking and throw it away and start all again because it's such
Mhm.
a beast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a beast. And there's so much overlap. Well, you said there's different kinds of trafficking, there's different kinds of trauma,
Yeah.
and there's so much overlap with all of them.
Yeah.
And like Lisa, who you're talking to next week, she was sexually abused, as far as she knows, once.
Hmm.
But that was her line is it was sunny the day my brain broke, something like that.
Ah. Yeah,
The day
because
my
once
brain
is
broke.
more than enough.
Once is
It,
more than enough. And there was a wider context. Like she
of
was
course.
experiencing neglect and
Yeah.
some I think some bullying in her family. And so but that one incident was enough in the wider context. And
Yeah.
you talk about that too, your family of
Yeah.
origin and how even if your dad hadn't been your trafficker, like
There
the
was
way
still
you
all
were
these other forms of abuse.
yes, and
Yes.
the way you were treated
Yeah.
growing up all of the way all of you were treated and then the way you particularly were treated or not treated like
Yeah.
then that just it all feeds
Yeah.
the
Totally.
trauma and
Yeah.
all fed into the recovery that
Yeah.
the process that you've been on.
Yeah.
So we want to invite people though it's not hopeless. Like the reason why you're here today is because you have hope. And
Yeah.
you don't just want to tell all. It's not a
Yeah.
revenge memoir. It's in fact you don't name anybody. You name a
Yeah.
couple of people who are dead, but you
Yep.
only give their first names
Yeah.
and you don't give names. Um so because there's nothing to gain from necessarily from
No.
exposure like that. That's not the point of your
Yeah.
book. The point of your book is part of this teaching people what
Yeah.
to look for
Yeah.
and
I
how
want
to
to
think.
raise awareness and I want to show. So if you're like in a bad situation, if you're being abused or trafficked, I want to show you like, well, actually, there is hope. Like there is an after and another side. And that's what I get to live in every day right now.
Yeah.
And then I also want to raise awareness and education because if people around me knew,
Mhm.
then they could have, should have done things. And if they didn't know, then why not? Like we all can know enough to love in and lean in to the people in our worlds. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, crowdfunder, I'll put a link underneath this video. It's crowdfunder and you're looking for sold a path forward and we really just would love for you to partner. Can we mention?
Yeah.
We have a
We
couple of
should talk
partners.
about partners. This is what Colleen means when she's like, we want to like spread it. Okay, so we are a lot of our packages that you can buy on the crowdfunder come with like copies that then get donated because you don't need like 10 copies of this. You just need
Mhm.
to have one. But then
Mhm.
you can buy copies that go to people like women that get, oh, how do I word this? It would go to Her Victory, which is an
Mhm.
organization in Calgary, and they would use it as a resource for some of the people they work with.
Yeah.
And then there's an
And for some of
organization.
their sponsors too. It goes
Yeah,
both, right?
actually, yeah, that's true, actually.
For people who've been
And
trafficked and people who are trying to help people who've been
yeah,
trafficked. Mhm.
and then there's an organization in Ontario called Greater Glasgow, and
Greater
they are
Glasgow, not Glasgow like Scotland, but
right. Sorry.
Glasgow. Yeah.
Yes. And they're an awareness raising
Mhm.
organization. They're trying to raise awareness around human trafficking. And so they will also be getting donated copies that they give to people. Yeah.
Mhm. And what's Greater Glasgow doing with us?
Okay, okay, okay. It's super beautiful. And then when I was working with Dave, one of the people on their board, I got to like see it close up and it's even more beautiful than you think it is. So a lot of our packages come with like a necklace.
Mhm.
And so Greater Glasgow, they get their name because they're right on the Great Lakes. And they take sea glass and they keep it like as they find it and they turn it into this beautiful jewelry. And
Mhm.
it's to show like that redemptive arc that we all
Mhm.
need, that human trafficking victims need, that I've seen myself been able to walk. And then their jewelry, their necklaces are going to be what you get in those packages as the pendant. And so it's a really fun collaboration. And it's
Mhm.
all like the bluey color scheme because in my story, you'll learn why that color really matters to me.
Yeah. Blue, turquoise color.
Yeah.
This color. This color.
Yeah, totally. And
Yeah.
like this color and that color. And yeah, it's all over my world. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, and then there's one other collaborate too, your kids. You've already mentioned your son helping you with YouTube, but
Yeah.
what's your daughter making and what's your son making?
Okay, so my daughter, I wish I was wearing them. I usually am. My daughter is making these really pretty, like, the Taylor Swift style friendship bracelets.
Mhm.
She has made a number of designs, but they always come in a stack of three, and it's the same colors as on my website. She like went into my blog and matched it, and they say a path forward or freedom for everyone, things like that. And they come in a lot of the packages. And then my son has designed stickers like for your water bottle or your computer. And so there's two designs, and so those will be available too.
Very good. Okay, Christina, we could talk for a long time. We will come back and talk
Okay.
more, and you will have had more words of the day occur to you. And
Lovely. More therapy sessions.
oh, so again, I'll put the link to the crowdfunder. It's crowdfunder without an E at the end, and crowdfunder.com/sold dash a path forward. Crowdfunder without an E.com/sold dash a path forward. It's long.
But
Comment
it's
if you
worth
don't
it.
see the link. If you don't see the link, then comment link, and
Mhm.
we will send you it by direct message or whatever. We will get you a link because we want you to partner with us and Her Victory and Greater Glasgow. And there are other people that we're trying to bring in. We can't talk about them yet because it's not official, but we want to partner with as many people as possible, individuals, organizations. We want to raise awareness about this problem, and we want to make a difference in
Yeah,
Canada.
what I say is we want to change it and make a path forward.
There
Yeah.
you go. Path
Yeah.
forward. Okay. Thanks, Christina.
Thanks, Colleen.
Bye.